Let's take a minute to talk about French triangles. You may have noticed on your kit that there are all these weird curvy markings on your pieces, and here, like at the front of the bench, those are the French triangles. This is a system of marking that I learned from Christopher Schwarz, and it's based on an old system. And what the triangles do is they allow you to very quickly look at a part or a section of a collection of parts and know which way they should face and which go together and which don't go together. There's an additional level of detail that I add to mine because of the way workbenches go together. Your traditional French triangle system would be that they always point up or they always point to the front. And the problem with that with workbenches is the back and the front are both show faces, and it can get a little bit confusing when you're manipulating the parts. So what I do is I typically I have a triangle that all the triangles face up. That's a standard procedure for me. But I have two different colors for different faces. So the black triangles refer to the front of the bench and the left of the bench, and the red triangles refer to the right side of the bench or the rear of the bench as you're standing in front of it. So you'll see here, like, this is a pair of legs, a set of legs for a right-handed bench. So all the leg vise cavity stuff is on the left front leg. It would be the opposite for a lefty bench. And you'll see half of a triangle here, and then the other half is kind of chewed up by the vise cavity. But if I were to separate these legs, I would know that, this is the right half of a triangle. It's black, so it goes in the front, and it would mate up with the same color triangle, but the other half of it. And then this is the right side of that set of legs, and so you've got two halves of a triangle on these two legs. And then, the slabs. I'm pretty sure I had them marked when I shipped them. You should have a black triangle facing up on the front of the front slab and a red triangle facing up on the outside show face of the rear slab. And of course, this slab is upside down, so the arrow is pointing down right now. You can also very quickly look at, this is kind of hard to do, so we'll do it like this. You can also very quickly look at the tops of your legs and reassemble the triangle. Now the color of this triangle is not relevant, it doesn't matter, but this points to the very front of the bench. If you can see all four faces, at once, that triangle is going to point to the front edge of the bench. So one set of parts that doesn't have triangles on it are your long rails for the base of the bench. And that's because as long as you're not, if you're putting the dead man on, and I think most students will opt for this, I had to pick and choose, which rail I thought would be best at the front of the bench. And, that's one of those, I just basically chose the same way I would normally choose if I was making a bench for a customer. So your front rail is the one that has these dominoes in it, these holes for dominoes in it, and that's going to be useful when we go to glue on the track that the dead man slides on. And then the inside face has this notch, and this is so that you can take some 3/4 inch stock and make your shelf later on if you decide to do that. So you're kind of predetermined. And then the inside face is decided for you as well, because we've got the holes for the barrel nuts to mate up. So these rails go in this order. This is the front rail, and this is the top of the front rail. This is the outside face, and then this is the top of the rear rail, and this is the outside face of the rear rail. So one thing you can do right now to get a little bit of practice is on the front rail, you put the black triangle. So the triangle is made, you start at the top, you go down and sweep out, and you curl up and over, straight across, and then you go under and back up, and then a line down. When you're doing a triangle on vertical parts, that separation of the seam, that becomes the vertical line. And then, let's since this is the rear, it gets a red triangle. And that tells me that that's the rear. Now, the added benefit of using this color system is when I am trying to lay out the tenons or I'm fitting the joinery between this long rail and the legs that go on either side, if I have a black triangle here, I better not be fitting it to a leg that has a red triangle.